네.
We are back after Hanwha Life versus Afreeca Freecs game number 1. Hanwha Life managed to break the nexus of Afreeca. So they already got the really strong draft. Aphelios has the ability to open fight in range and also has a lot of support in all the lanes. So Hanwha Life has one of the best compositions, but some of the fans might be a little bit curious why they went very typical composition. Maybe because Hanwha Life always tries some creative comps, fans might be expecting something more, but Hanwha is also good at standard composition as well. Afreeca, B1, Elise, lock in. Spirit is having again his golden time, so they gave Spirit the best champion in the current meta and then Pantheon for a chain CC engagement. However, Lyra already emphasized that Aphelios, Rumble, and Misfortune has a huge teamfight ability. So he's really happy to Hanwha Life taking 2 of the 4 or 3 OP champions. So let's take a look at some of the highlights. That was a huge turnover for Hanwha Life. Especially, we wanna take a deeper look at Aphelios and its rune choice. Aphelios was hiding in the very back line. Look at his movement speed. He can stay out of the range of the opponent champions, but when the players tried to fight back, he used his summoner heal and also the clock, the Nimbus clock. He had amazing amount of increased movement speed, so no one could actually follow him. So Lyra right now thinks that if you are playing AD carry without any dash, it's actually much better to take Nimbus clock. So this is the information of the Aphelios rune from Vista from the previous game. So as a jungler, he also faced some of the unexpected situation due to Nimbus clock. So these are some of the details about the Nimbus clock. Whenever you use a summoner spell, your movement speed increases for 2.5 seconds. So it used to be more from the maybe the magical boots, but now it's moving to the Nimbus clock. So with that win, Hanwha was having a landslide victory. But still, Afreeca also had a chance to turn the game around. So that exhaust from Thresh was really effective as well. J4 made a perfect situation for AoE engagement. However, Thresh was also caught in the Cataclysm as well. So that kind of enabled him to go for a really hard CC engage on the damage dealers in the back line. So they were able to find Vista in the team fight, and we could see that that was their first purpose of taking that competition as a whole. However, after this fight, Hanwha Life was able to switch the momentum and rush it down to the Nexus. Then let's check out the POG for game number 1. Lihen's on Thresh. Lihen set all the fights up in this game. Especially his CC score is 17. His follow in the bot lane gank was really incredible, but also this top lane super save was really effective as well. J4 actually had a little bit of a hard time in the early phase, but Thresh was really good at setting up the fights and giving the J4 the following CC, so it enabled Haru to come back in game. So in the mic check, actually Cuba said listen to Lee Hans. Maybe that's the proof that Lee Hans is doing a lot of work in their team and also really vocal in game. 7 people voted for Lee Hans for this game number 1. It was a close match, but still Lee Hans got the POG. Let's check out who's gonna win game number 2.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much, G-Sun, for the translation. I'm going to apologize once again for completely botching one of those team fights. I honestly thought that I had it nailed. I had the Elodios nailed. That's why LS did not need to know anything about the champion. He's got too much in the large brain of his already. He doesn't need to have that many pages of notes on a champion in his head. However, I botched it on the first time of asking. I'm hoping next time he's banned. I mean, next time I get another chance and I can nail it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that this game for Hanwha Life was really good. Obviously, Cube having an extremely rough time for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Inside of this game.
Hey, but he nailed the last team fight.
No.
Okay?
He did, actually.
Yeah, smashed it.
That was a very good Ornn ultimate at the very end.
Also demonstrates just how good Ornn is, right? Like,
yes.
He did a whole lot of things wrong on that champion by what you were discussing with us during that last game. However, Ornn is still on. Ornn is still able to give so much money to his team, all this sort of stuff. Let's see whether Hanwha are going to get it again or whether it's going to be picked away from them. Resident Ornn player on the Afreeca side is definitely Fly. Does like to play that one in the mid lane. They debuted that in the Kesper Cup. Afreeca sticking to their guns. The Yuumi is going to continue to be banned.
As Hanwha Life now, they're going to ban away the Jarvan. And we'll see if Afreeca keeps up their usual bans. And also, we'll see if Hanwha Life actually want to go towards that Soraka.
Talia going to be banned away here.
Talia biting the dust. As Akali. That's a very weird thing to show on blue side.
Yeah.
Basically signals that you're probably not capable of playing it, given the amount of priority that it has had and its willingness to just be picked up.
There's also the fact that a lot of these players probably don't play as much Akali anymore because she's just been banned every single game.
Yeah.
So why would you put practice time into her? So just not wanting to see it regardless. The last one will be the set. So first pick Ornn, a possibility, but the first pick Rumble also there. The quintuple flex isn't a bad one. Now Afreeca, they get their chance with the Elodios if they would like to.
Keen looks a little flustered.
Well, I mean, after the last game, I don't blame him. He's got a lot to prove. That's Pantheon. All right.
I'm not totally sure why they would want to force this champion again. But we'll see.
We had first pick Nautilus last time, so, you know, crazier things have happened.
And now Aphelios picked up by Afreeca.
Well, I guess we know who wins this game. Is Aphelios 100% win rate so far today? I think he might be.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is.
Surprising, however, that
wait,
is...
no. No, he did lose.
Oh, he lost that one time. Yes, because,
He got hit by Chovy's Nautilus.
One dredge line.
Yeah, one dredge line, yep.
Yeah. And then he died with Flash Up, and then they lost.
Misfortune and Mordekaiser are now locked in, so likely going to be a physical damage jungler, and when that's the case, you know that there's a limited amount of champions that is likely going to come in. So, looking at champion like Rek'Sai, like Lee Sin, needs something inside of the jungle, and Elise being picked up again. Honestly,
I'm expecting Rek'Sai and Lee Sin
really
to just be banned right here.
She is not even, I don't even think she's A tier.
Well, she's won one game.
The jungle. She has won one game. She is now 1-6 in the LCK. Now, stats aren't always indicative of how good a champion is.
No, of course not.
Now, I'm not saying that this applies to either one of these teams, but hypothetically, if the worst teams are always picking something that is objectively the best and losing with it every game, like imagine the worst teams were the ones always picking Aphelios and MF.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with Aphelios and MF. It has more so to do with the players and the teams playing it. So, Elise she did pick up a win earlier on today, her first one.
And an MVP.
And an MVP.
Or player of the game, which
now,
is abbreviated to POG for everyone who's
yeah.
playing at home, which is just adorable.
And
Shout out to our podcast, the POG State.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice.
That's what it is.
Nice sellout right there. Definitely, I can get behind that.
Hey, look, there's going to be a new episode coming real soon. I hope everyone's very excited. 7 seconds until the final ban here on Hanwha's side. It was the Olaf that got chosen to be taken away, so expect Rek'Sai or Lee Sin here for Hanwha Life. I would really like Lee Sin. I like it paired with the Rumble, as Aatrox is being looked at here for Keen.
I'm wondering if the Blitzcrank ban is actually to allow Rumble to go into bot lane.
Support position.
Yeah, support position so that you can get the Soraka maybe up in top, but instead actually it's just going to be a Blitzcrank so that you can pick the Thresh. But Morgana is still a thing. Morgana's not bad here against this team composition. Another champion that's not bad here against this team composition. We're not going to see her. I'm just going to say her, Zyra.
Yep.
Okay,
I just want Zyra to be picked at all times.
Yeah,
but,
here we go. Nautilus or Rakan.
Yeah, Rakan would be...
Old news.
It would make me very upset if that was to come in here. Anything that, like, Bard, Nami,
so,
Zyra,
they
Brand.
just R4, R5, 2 melee champions that have to engage. And even though this is a very black and red team composition, I'm not just talking about the colors of the champions that have been locked in, but also the theme. There's a lot of conditions on all these champions that have to be met. They need to get ahead. They need to make sacrifices in some areas to accelerate them into the mid game. But the R4 Aatrox, R5 Nautilus, it walks right in to the Thresh Mordekaiser Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes no sense in a vacuum. In Hanwha Life, they didn't draft themselves into a win on their own accord here, but they ended up with it.
Yeah,
and
they got
so,
it handed to them.
Yet again, I believe this brings Hanwha Life to having never lost a draft, at least in my opinion.
Yep, no, they've straight up just won every draft.
Yeah,
they haven't won every game just yet, losing 1 to T1. And a win here will tie them for top of the standings, giving them the title of biggest surprise in the LCK for week 1. Absolutely. I don't think anyone was thinking that Hanwha Life had won the offseason or anything like that. But tying with the team that we thought may have won the offseason in Gen G is certainly very impressive. But they'll have to show it on the Rift. They need to win this game if they are going to get there into that position. Or is it going to be Afreeca Freecs doing the same thing? If Afreeca win the next 2 games, then they will also tie with Gen G for top of the standings. Hanwha's draft looks real good. Afreeca look just real good themselves during the Kesper Cup and during their first match against Griffin. Can they do it again here? We'll need a top laner to reconnect. Because honestly, Keen just could not find any of the team fights that he was looking for in the last game.
Slow down. Don't be too toxic.
Oh, I wasn't being toxic.
Okay.
I was just saying that he needs to, you know, regather himself. That was my reference. Okay?
All right. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I'm glad that you allowed me to re-clarify, though, in case anyone was thinking that I was being mean to Keen.
Okay.
I very much like the player. He just hasn't had the start to the season that he was wanting.
Still the
we
best.
Were expecting.
He's still top 2.
Oh, yeah.
In the LCK. For top lane. Him and Summit. Although Summit
also had a bit of a rough time.
Summit
feels like the pressure is getting to these guys.
Yeah. It is hard to remain on top, as let's take a look at the runes as we are going to get interrupted.
Well, we are able to have a look at the runes for quite some time, if we would like to.
All right. Well, hopefully this pause does not last too long. These lights.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting late into the
no.
day, so.
Who is it? It's Jelly Spilt Water.
All right.
Oh no, is this another sippy cup problem?
Yeah, Svenskeren lives
on. It's come all the way over the ocean into Korea. Oh, man.
Monka's.
Yeah.
Monka S.
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
So these days, it's just really hard to avoid this sort of thing.
I don't
with the
know
amount of international
if the
flights.
water went into his keyboard or. I would imagine it didn't go into his keyboard because.
It went into his keyboard.
And so how do we know it's not malfunctioning?
Well,
generally, it doesn't happen right away. All the time. Sometimes the water needs.
Oh, I've spilt loads of things on my my
yeah,
keyboard.
I spilled a drink into my keyboard once, and it didn't shut down until 30 minutes later when I was in a game.
That's not so good.
Cool. Yeah, Gravity just had a really sick joke.
Yeah, well,
on me.
So
There's some people in chat right now that are like, the Earth is flat, gravity does not exist. Summoner's Rift is a globe. You know, like, I don't really know where we're going with that one, but
that's true. I mean, you have to remember, guys, that this is the Summoner and not the actual champion in the Rift. Therefore, Runeterra's gravity laws and physics do not apply to Jelly right now. Jelly does have to abide by the 9.8 meters per second acceleration of gravity, pulling him towards the planet. And that is beneath him right now, underneath. Slightly curved. But we won't go into that.
If you're from Australia, is it above you?
No, that's not how that works either.
That's not how that works?
No, because the bottom is actually the center of the sphere. And not...
so I'm playing a joke on you. Everyone knows that it's flat.
I was waiting for you to get there. Do you know what we're going to need to do before we start having another flat Earth conversation?
Where are you really from? We both know Australia doesn't exist. I've seen the flight paths.
I live on one of the elephants that's holding up Discworld. That's what I live on. That's where Australia is. I'm pretty sure it's like the end of the trunk. Right. That's about where I am. Thankfully, we're back into the game.
Where's that waterfall going?
Well, the waterfall, it's going straight onto Jelly's keyboard, dude. We already figured that out.
Take a look at it.
Oh,
looks a little red down there.
Almost got it. Almost got it. Okay. We're back into the laning phase. We're into the Pantheon versus the Rumble matchup. The tent was quite happy in, honestly, last time around. Our eyes are going to be largely on the top side. See what QV can do with the Mordekaiser. Hasn't played it thus far. Played an eclectic array of champions so far in the Ornn, Set, Soraka, and Vayne.
Yeah, he
playing a whole lot of different
playing the non-meta champions, and that's what he did last split too. He was playing Gnar when no one else was. Yeah. He was using Tahm Kench to neutralize Keen. Actually, I think in the Aatrox matchup was the first time that he debuted it.
I think so too.
The top lane Tahm Kench managed to go even against him. So this is where Cube tries to find his edges. And, I was thinking that the top laner Ixu was going to try to do similar stuff.
Right? Yeah.
But he ended up trying to play straight up against Summit. That wasn't a good idea. And
yeah, that didn't work.
Now here in this game, the Mordekaiser, it is really interesting because it can stifle the build orders on Afreeca, and it can really take away from their mid-game strength. And they're a team composition that's all about early game champions. It's very akin to the Dragon X team comp earlier that we had today with the Kiana that was inside of it. The Kiana, the Renekton, and having to get ahead. So Afreeca, they're in the same boat. Now, however, because of the Rumble and because of the Thresh, there is incentive to get Merc Treads. There's incentive to get magic resistance. And so, Maul of Malmortius, not that bad on Pantheon or Aatrox here against these champions. Yeah, and also the Merc Treads, the added tenacity, QSS.
Even Mystic as well. He can comfortably build the Maul of Malmortius.
Yeah, so
I actually love Lifeline passive from the Maul on the Aphelios, just because he can do so much damage so quickly and has innate lifesteal as well. So if you get Severum and have that, it's great. Speaking of great, it's going to be the stuns layered really nicely. This is what we saw demonstrated earlier. Gets the cleanse out of Tempt, and they are able to re-stun him, but they're only able to get a bit of damage out. No flash necessary just yet.
Cube actually seems like he's already losing his lane. Looks like there was actually a small freeze in front of Keen's turret, and Cube, he's having to recall right now because Elise just passed through around mid, and Cube has to respect it, and this is disastrous. I don't quite see what Keen is doing with the minion wave yet, but you can see the pings going down.
He might be stacking it up. We'll see where Spirit's going to path, see whether he can actually threaten top lane after clearing out his chicken camp.
Definitely a bit brutal, though. The top lane state. Mordekaiser recalls into boots, cloth armor, and another red pot. So doesn't get the ideal recall into a refillable potion. Spirit now looking to path onto the right-hand side of the map. As, yeah, it's a big pile up, and you can see Aatrox right now. Hopefully we get an XP graph soon. He's already into level 5. Cube still level 4. But there is quite a surplus of minions that QV has yet to eat.
Well, we're looking at a bottom lane dive. As Lehen's standing here by himself. Spirit in position, no vision available as Spirit pulls the minion wave to avoid that one from being an issue. Sidesteps the hook, gets the flash out, turret. Gonna de-aggro there onto Spirit, who can just walk under, but only a couple of minions remain. They do get the flash, that's it, and they waste 4 people's time. Temp back here is going to waste a few minions to the turret, and looking to play defense as well onto the Pantheon, making his way back.
So, Mordekaiser is about to ding 5 on that melee minion.
Where was that?
And so,
you going? Very
6 minions worth of XP is how deep he is into level 5. So, I imagine that Keen is probably about 8 or 9 minions ahead of him, which is an entire wave. So Keen's about to get level 6 off of the initial minions on this wave. You can just watch that at the top right of your screen. Keen's about to ding level 6 off this minion wave. And there he is. As not going to be able to do anything with World Ender just yet. Kyubey's going to have to wait until he eats the entire wave to get level 6. As Haru soloing the Mountain Dragon, that's actually, it's so big against Elise, Pantheon, and Aatrox.
Yeah, just against his team comp in general, that's actually going to give Hanwha a little bit more of an option as far as playing this game out sort of beyond the 30-minute mark. Those stats might actually start to matter.
Because you go into the Seeker's Vanguard on the Rumble. You're eventually going to get resistances on the Mordekaiser. The Thresh is going to eventually get the Stone Plate, get the amplification from that as well. So it really helps when you're against this early game team composition. And actually, Mordekaiser... Okay, never mind. QV just dinged 6, and it took in another wave. So when you factor in the cannon, yeah, he is down about 10 CS in terms of XP.
So the thing that's actually really, really great about the Mountain Drake, we normally talk about Mountain Drake not giving you so much, right? Because the percentages are very, very low. But when you're against Elise and Pantheon, on top of the fact that you have avenues to build these resistance stats, like the Seeker's Arm Guard on both, the Mordekaiser and the Rumble, Ninja Tabi also going to come in for potentially both of them. It really does start to stack up. No, also, there's an Elise on here as well, and increasing that... The magic resist stat is going to be very helpful against her because she does very much like to build that magic penetration, as one Harpoon is going to be successful here as Temp gains some control here of this lane.
Now, it won't equate to massive amount of reduction, especially early on, while champions still need time to get base resistances by leveling up and whatnot, but even if it equates to an auto attack, that's still nice to have against a team composition that's coming into you and has a reliance on getting ahead, and already has really thin... What is...
Keen just jumping around, I guess. Death Realm still available for QV. Looks like he's doing all right up here.
And the really unfortunate thing about this is...
Well, a whole bunch of friends come in. There's the Death Realm, allowed to set Keen up for this one, and as soon as he comes out... It's the first time I've actually seen the Death Realm used like this, as Keen... World Ender, flashes, Umbral Dash, and he's going to make it out of there. I like the idea from QV, but it wasn't quite enough to lock the Aatrox down completely. Keen's actually still very healthy as well, as Spirit's making his way over. This might be the first team fight of the game. Jelly already in position. And Hanwha Life, they know it. Sniff out the potential team fight that they do not want to be in that position for.
Hanwha Life, they're dragging all the teammates over. Now, Keen is up a bit on QV, but Tempt is up a bit on Fly. Tempt is already into level 8, Fly still level 7, even though minions have been consumed a bit in the mid lane. Mystic and Jelly being a little cautious as Spirit. He's going to start the Rift Herald right now. Mordekaiser's going to have the first leg up on the bottom lane arrival, but the lane state, take a look at it on the minimap, that is a whole lot of blue minions.
Yeah, that is a mega large amount of
blue
minions. And there's no way that... Yeah, QV's not going to be able to shove that underneath the turret in time. Keen's just going to be able to eat them all as quickly as he likes, or as slowly as he likes, depending on whether or not he likes that freezing mentality that some people talk about. Great sidestep there from Vista. Sort of a surprise pleasure is this player. Came from the support role as a trainee, and he's making us pretty impressed so far with his performance. And with a name like Vista, I wasn't ready to be impressed. You know, I'd upgrade to 7, generally.
I said Mordekaiser just flashed.
아, 오케이.
Can you look at me? No, okay. Flashes out.
이거 설마 할것
He had
같은데?
no idea where
He
anyone
said,
else
I think I'm gonna
was.
live.
Yeah, got it. No worries. Mystic is Calibrum looking to go home. See how close to the Essence Reaver he is. 1 minion behind, so no worries there on the bottom side. Things very even. See whether Elodios is going to be yet again on the winning side. So far this matchup, he has been, but that's only one game.
And also, this game, we can notice that Keen did purchase the Hex Drinker. Gives him a lot of value in the mid-game against the Mordekaiser and the Rumble. A little surprised that he didn't just pick up the Warhammer so that he could actually get CDR from somewhere, rather than opting immediately into the Phage, but I guess he wants the extra HP, which then compounds with the magic resistances.
Yep.
To give him more effectiveness, so definitely can understand it from that angle. Haunting Guys picked up, almost into Tabby as well, for attempt on this Rumble, as Cube is,
He's just taking it. He just has to.
This really looks like days of old where you would have like a pro player against an amateur player, like in a different tier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not to take anything away from Cube, it's just Keen has really been getting the better end of him now in 2 games, and this is just destruction. A 1.5 level lead, single-handedly created by Keen himself up there in top lane.
Whoa, that's a big flash. Gets the play there onto Spirits, trying to stand away from the Spiderlings as Fly. Getting down very low before he's even able to do anything. The equalizer's beautifully spaced, as now Afreeca had to get that teleport cancelled. Thank goodness it was. Because in fact, Cube that did so with the Death's Grasp. In goes Haru, goes 1 for 1, but Spirit grabs one off the back end, as well as Lahens falls down. Make It Rain gonna deny Mystic any sort of approach. That's a great trade for Afreeca. I have a feeling, actually, that that teleport had it completed, it would have been only bad news for Afreeca.
And this is really scary. I mean, QA did a really good job at canceling it. I believe he used the Death Realm.
Yeah, I think you can Death Realm and then Death Grasp. I don't know whether Death... It doesn't necessarily CC you, but maybe it just cancels teleport anyway.
The Death Realm makes you blink to the very edge of the Death Realm.
Ah, yes, okay.
So that's all that ends up happening. So take a look at this. Cube goes back over rather than joining the fray. Probably values removing Aatrox than joining himself. Haru gets locked up, hits a Q onto Jelly. It was a really good equalizer, and then the teleport right at the very end. Canceled by Mordekaiser via the Death Realm, according to the cooldown bar.
Yep.
And Haru, he gets the First Blood, so First Blood plus assist considered. It's going to be 600 total gold, and then you give over 2 kills, assists considered. It's going to be 800 gold, so Afreeca is going to end up making out better, but not by as much as you would think.
Well, in comes Fly. Good night, Cube. He is most definitely dead. There was no Death Realm there available. As Fly is able to tank up that turret for days. This is what you were talking about before, the fact that Pantheon and Elise can practically ignore turrets. And Shelly's going to be shoved down as well. This is a much better start for Afreeca. The Spirit somehow gets turret placed from that one as well as Haru. It's going to find him. Resonating Strike, I believe, actually didn't register the damage.
Why did QH build a Oblivion Orb into a Hex Drinker?
Not entirely sure. Why did Haru try to engage onto Keen right here as the hook is going to land? Lahens saving his jungler's life, but Spirit is going to put him into the ground as Keen with the World Ender. Just so much healing. There's nothing Hanwha can do. I think they might need to rethink this one. We're going to a game 3.
I really think that it is lining up for potentially a game 3, especially if this top lane discrepancy continues the way that it is. QB just put himself in the ground by building that Oblivion Orb into already present resistance.
He is 50 CS behind.
He's 50 CS behind. Has an Oblivion Orb. There's someone right now that's like, the healing on Aatrox. And I just, I try to turn a blind ear to that one.
To be honest, building an Executioner's Calling is better in this instance. Because at least you're going to be able to auto-attack him, right? And it'll give it to you without having to spend all of that money.
Morello is just so expensive against this team composition that serves really no purpose. So, here, I mean, Keen, he gets the reset just like you talked about. And...
나이스.
Nice.
아, 개인이 안 버려야겠네. 잘하네.
How good Keen is.
Spirit just giving Keen a few kind words after what would have been a little bit more of a disheartened top laner on the Afreeca side after game 1. 3,000 gold, a little bit over that, is going to be the lead here for Afreeca.
No, likewise.
Oh, I like that. Cute backwards use of the Death's Grasp. But Keen is an immovable object, and there are no unstoppable forces on the side of Hanwha. So, Nexus Destruction, probably the only unstoppable force that is available here.
Tempt finally rotates up to top lane. This is definitely a rough spot to be in. And this is definitely scary as well. Also, interestingly enough, Fly, he picked up the component for Phage, but never finished the Phage or a Kindle Gem, and then immediately elected into Yumu's, which is really strange considering the opponent got a Mountain Drake, which is going to scale every single level, so the penetration...
Yeah, lethality went down in value.
Pantheon is one of those people that he does stack it so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
The Black Cleaver. He just jumps on you with W, he basically fully stacks it, his E. There's so many ways for him to do it and get the value out of it. So, given that the enemy champions are also itemizing armor, it's definitely not bad. You get more value out of that from, or than a Yumu's, as Fly is going to die here.
Yep, kicked into the wall, and just wait that one out. We'll get another cube, but doesn't even need it. Flame Spitter, pretty dang good. Second kill here for Hanwha Life, trying to pull this one back. Not over till it's over. Of course, it's going to be a very difficult game as Afreeca now are going to put Shirley into this outer turret. She's in fact tanking it up as well for quite some time. It means that mini wave is going to stay alive for the moment, but they don't push it any further forward. Lehens pokes her eye out. Maybe an opportunity to take down this outer turret top lane as well, as Cube is getting shoved in by Keen once again on the bottom side.
Cube finally hits level 10. He's about to die again, though. Although he does have... Oh, no. Oh, yeah, yes, definitely.
Cocoon is going to land.
Yeah,
Good
okay.
night, sweet prince. Yeah. Fly's going to die again, too, though. Actually blocking a lot of the damage, like it. Because he blocked so much, actually did a relevant amount there as Vista. He's coming in. They're looking for it. Jelly trying to slow them down. Oh, that was almost such a good play. But actually, it doesn't even matter as the teleport comes through from Keen. He's looking for Lehens. Lehens flashes out of the way. And Make It Rain may have actually been relevant there to avoid getting in range of the dredge line from Jelly. But that would have had quite a long cooldown given the fact that it missed the structure he was aiming for earlier. Mystic just remaining in the mid lane, clearing things out as Lehens still there, getting smacked down by Keen. Another Umbral Dash comes in, one more auto, and that is a very good thresh as the Q is going to be enough. Keen continuing his onslaught. Q lands onto him, slowed down by the Harpoons. Haru actually wants it, as in comes Fly. He looks for Temp, good cleanse. Basically immediately is Haru, that's not a fight that you want. Not entirely sure why you even wanted to take it. As Spirit is going to get around doing the things that he, needs to be doing, taking Drakes, things like that. 2-0-2 now on the Elise. Big grin on the jungler's face.
Game is looking like it really is over. And I feel like what Hanwha Life are trying to do there by going up to top lane is they feel pressured due to the gap in bottom. And I thought that this looked like a visual bug or that I had blinked. I thought Lehens had finished his recall and then got pulled back almost by the damage because it looked really weird at first on my monitor, but that's why I had reacted the way that I did. As Haru, he doesn't have a real way of getting out here. Just tries to take the Q back in, but I suppose he could have tried to make a run for it.
Yeah, he could have just walked the other way, man. I don't know. Sometimes when you're losing the fight, things ain't great. But yeah, that's the more of Malmortius. Good builds and good play so far for Keen on the Aatrox. He was always one of our better ones. But it's good to see him actually performing.
And Cube rushing Morello. What, he's going to complete it right now.
Yep, there we go.
Yep.
Locked it in there.
That'll be his epitaph.
He just really needed the mana.
What?
No, there's no mana on it.
There's no Morello on him.
Yeah.
There used to be.
Yeah, no, I forgot the build. It used to have some of the best.
One?
It used to have some of the best
it used to be one of the best items, yeah.
Outside of the old Athene's Unholy Grail.
Yes.
Just slightly different as far as flat mana regen. Morello used to have it. Doesn't anymore. Still, not a great first item to rush because it means his Leandri is going to be extremely late. And the Rylai's is going to be even later And he was already just didn't have any items, so it's a good night attempt. All right. Takes the lantern, gets to safety. Only relative safety here is the equalizer did come down. Keen versus Cube, a death realm that Cube doesn't want, but he has friends making their way in. Blast Cone just going to be used before he comes out, as Cube has survived long enough, and Vista should be able to grab. Oh no! Keen turning it around, gets kicked back. Q is going to be out of the way of the bullet time. Oh my god, I thought it was going to be a super play, but it wasn't. But he did buy enough time for his team to get the Baron, so maybe it is the super play that we were thinking of.
Well, Afreeca, they're going to pick up the Baron, like you just said. All the gold going over to them. They're riding by about 6,000. Another Infernal Dragon coming up here soon, and it's obviously a really good dragon. Let's take a glimpse at how Arthas really killed Illidan. As Cube brings him into the Death Realm, and then he's like, wait a second, hold on here.
Arthas did it by running away as fast as he could.
He tells Sylvanas, and then one of the blind monks over here is like, can you guys take care of this?
Yeah, Loremaster Cho.
Yeah, Loremaster Cho before he transforms into a panda.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, for some reason that's Lee Sin in my mind.
As eventually Illidan was brought down.
It's much better options than Loremaster Cho. Just bad, but it's got a similar vibe. I don't know.
Alright, well. Afreeca, they're just waiting for all the lanes to line up. They're going to be able to win this game quite easily from this point forward.
Do you know what I really love about this game?
Go ahead.
Mystic's done basically nothing, which means I don't need to talk about Aphelios at all. Because look, he's got long-rangey gun, and he shot Vista. Oh hit him with his Q, marked him up. There's the ultimate. Gonna land a few extras, and that's what happens with Calibrum.
Explain to me what just happened now.
He marked them, and then because they're marked, for some reason you can hit them across the other side of the map. I don't know. I didn't code this champion, but he's busted. All right? It's silly. Why can you do that? You can't even see him. If you set it on your champion, you just died from something raining from nowhere that you can't avoid.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got some feelings. Equalizer comes down to deter Afreeca Freecs. It's going to do so for the moment, but will mean that cooldown won't be there. The subsequent defense, another reset going to be the answer here. We're just waiting for Afreeca to dot the I's and cross the T's. Great to see Keen having a good game.
Yes, a much better performance than his game number 1. Now, if you're a Hanwha Life Esports fan, you're probably really worried for game number 3, because this is 2 games in a row now where Cube has been extremely outclassed. It really has not even close. We couldn't even make it to level 4 this game without his lane state just being in a terrible position. So, in this replay here, I wish I could describe to you what just ended up happening. But
you know how a seesaw?
Yeah.
You know how a seesaw is supposed to balance, you know, and it's just, you're supposed to go up and down, and have a great time on the seesaw? If you're on a seesaw with a boulder, all you're sitting on is an uncomfortable chair. And I feel like that's what Aphelios does in the mid-game.
A boulder?
No. He's just weighing it down. So imbalanced. No? You're not with me?
But what if there's another boulder on the other side?
Yeah, it's obviously a much smaller boulder.
Oh.
Or a boulder made out of a different material that is not as dense.
What weighs more? 1,000 pounds of steel or 1,000 pounds of feathers?
Dude. Were you expecting to get me on that? Were you? Alright. Obviously the steel, idiot.
I'd laugh if there's actually some world where we're both technically wrong. We might be.
We would absolutely deserve it. We would absolutely deserve it. There's Mystic.
Oh, man.
He's looking for some new prey, as Haru might just be that. HLE gonna find them with the dredge line. Oh, the Moonlight Vigil is huge. In comes Fly to help clean this one up. The bullet time is ignored by the Afreeca Freecs because their wallets are so damn heavy. Their wallets weigh more than both the steel and the feathers, LS. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the blue buff just stolen as an afterthought, and now it's time for some base breaking.
And it does look like this game is gonna end here. Probably not within the next 30 seconds, but we're definitely going to have one of these turrets get raised, as currently Vista is busy trying to get the red buff, but okay, failed to kill it twice and canceled his recall.
Well,
doesn't really
got
matter.
It now, okay? Yeah. That's the main thing.
As Afreeca, they're actually going to elect to raise the mid tier 3 turret, and they're getting the inhibitor. As Keen is,
just playing with Rumble a little bit as Haru. Okay. Moves himself over, has the flash, so kick flash opportunities here. But who do you kick flash back in? I guess you choose to try to go to Mystic, and then you die to Fly and Keen.
Well, this is one of the weaknesses of Lee Sin against this team composition, is there's not real kick targets.
Yeah.
When the game is even or when you're behind. And so, right now it's a 8,000 gold advantage, double Infernal Dragon, so 8% AD and AP amplification to everyone on Afreeca. And honestly, you just feel so good right now at this point. Let's take a look at this replay.
Look at the ult from
right
Mystic.
here. Yeah,
the Infernal ult as well just
the
does
blue
so
buff
much
is
damage.
a pacifist. He's sort of like a grandparent. He's like, that's violent. Turn it off.
Yeah.
As he struts back to his, you know.
Yeah. It's like,
his
no,
rocking
I've
chair.
had enough. I've had enough of this silliness.
Yeah.
Enough of this. And then just gets
You ever have your
obliterated
grandparents tell you to turn something off as a kid?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too violent. That's gross.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
Disgusting. What did she say? Listen to music or something, you know? Like.
Is that what you're listening to these days? Back in my day, Jelly's just in amongst 4 people. Stoneblade, pretty good item here, as the Equalizer used only on Mystic, and I don't blame him, to be perfectly honest, but Tempt is going to have to go golden and then await his own death. Fly is going to give it to him, as now Cube puts Keen into the death realm, but that is exactly where Keen wanted to be, and Mystic now, with his Calibrum armed, is looking for his next victims. I believe he has Crescendum there as well, but honestly, it doesn't matter, because Fly is doing enough damage. Keen is doing all of the damage. And that's the ace, and that will be the end of the game. Afreeca bringing us to 3, a 6-game day to close out the first week of the LCK. I couldn't have asked for more, as Afreeca finally wake up and show us a dead Nexus before the penultimate game in this series.
And so that is going to be a game that is single-handedly carried by Keen.
Yeah.
He removed one of the enemy team's players, and
I'm glad that you're talking about this as Keen being a great player, because we were pretty harsh on Cube and what he did. But honestly, Keen gave him basically no options based on one mistake that Cube made in the laning phase that wasn't even a death. You know, he didn't even die. He just got sent home.
Error.
Yeah.
And lane manipulation and error snowballed into an XP lead, snowballed into advantageous trades, which then equated to a 1.5, almost 2 level lead.
Look at Spirit. Just teasing Mystic after Mystic helped carry him the game. Another release performance. It seems like she either loses or doesn't die all game. And look, it's basically the definition of what she is as a champion. It's either feast or famine. Either you have a great game or you have an awful game. And there's not much in between that. But good to see that they were actually able to get over the line here. And this Afreeca Freecs, they're a fun team to watch when they're in form, but that game 1 is still ringing back in my ears. You know, that is something that could happen again, because we switch back onto the red side for Hanwha Life, and it feels like their counter picks are just way better.
I really think they need to just blind Soraka or blind Karma or something that just neutralizes top lane. Put Cube on an island, stop putting him in lanes that Keen can get advantages on his own end, and just accept that it's a bit of an off day.
I think they just need to like bait a set pick or something like that.
They could do that. They could leave open set and see if Keen picks it, and then immediately respond Soraka.
Yeah, I mean, Afreeca banned set on blue side in game 1, and I actually think that's exactly why they did it. Because they didn't want to play the Soraka themselves and didn't want to get Soraka in that situation. Unfortunately, in game number 1, Keen was unable to really do anything in order to win that lane.
And then Ornn
neutralizes so well. I think, you know, Ornn wasn't even banned. Like, they could have played the Ornn, but didn't happen. Maybe that is going to tell Cube that perhaps it's just time to hop back to the Ornn. And we might see what Keen can do with it. But that will be after a short break, guys. We'll be back with the deciding and final game of the week and of the day. We'll see you very, very soon. Oh. Cast song has talked for a really long time this time. Never mind.
Your fault, Alex.
See you after the break.